Hello everybody, welcome to another Oxford United video. Bit of a sad one. The news has finally been announced. The news that we've pretty much all known for at least the last 24 hours. And that is that Liam Manning is no longer the Oxford United manager. He will be joining Bristol City along with assistant manager Chris Hogg. As my silly face shows on the thumbnail to this video, my initial reaction was shock. We've known about this for a few hours now, so that shock has subsided a little bit and it's moved into quite a lot of sadness. Not many of you did watch the video I did for the victory over Maidenhead. You can click on that in the top corner. I did it when my brother watched the game, so I did the video with him and we almost joked about it. We did a little bit talking about this could be Liam Manning's last game, and we talked about the rumours of him going to Bristol City. But as I said, we did it almost tongue-in-cheek because I really just did not think he was going to leave. It just seemed to me that this project here at Oxford, he was just getting started. He'd done such a good job of obviously keeping us up, and the recruitment was so good and we're playing such good football. For me, I thought that he would stay, and I thought he would look at the Bristol City job, whilst it being a club in a higher league and a bigger club with a bigger fan base, that it could just be a little bit risky, and if he doesn't do a good job, he could find himself out of work in 6 months. But there is the flip side to that. There is the other side of the coin, and Manning would have obviously weighed up those risk rewards and seen that it was an opportunity too big to turn down. There were opportunities that he had to move to a higher club when he was at MK Dons. He chose to stay on that occasion. They didn't get promoted. He found himself fired last season, and then obviously he had to come here and slum it with us at Oxford United. Manning would have seen this Bristol Rovers side first hand because they gave us a bit of a battering, a battering in the Carabao Cup in the first week of the season. And they're a very, very talented squad, and certainly he will feel he can get in there and mount a playoff push, and he's got that opportunity. If things do go well, it's not beyond the realms of possibility that he could find himself managing in the Premier League by this time next season. And it's frustrating from an Oxford United point of view, of course it is, and as I said, it is very sad because he was doing such a good job. And the only twinge of annoyance is I just wonder when this deal was actually done and when he was approached, because some people did point out on Saturday that his interview sounded a little bit off. Me being the sweet summer child that I am, didn't think there was anything wrong with it, but those internet sleuths out there, you kind of smelt a rat and something was fishy. And you just wonder when they did make that initial approach to Manning, and when obviously in the last couple of days those nuts and bolts have been ironed out. And whilst Manning's tenure at Oxford United is a short one, it will be one that is remembered very fondly by, I would say, the large majority of Oxford United fans out there. There may be some of you out there that wanted Manning to go and didn't like him, and if you were, I'd really like to know. Please put your comments down below. But some of the highs, obviously the back end of that season when we did finally clinch League One survival, that celebration on the pitch at Forest Green, and then moving into the off-season, just the calibre of player that he's brought into the football club and the style of football that we've played this season compared to last season is really night and day. Taking big leaps forward with not only the players that he's brought in, but with the coaching of the players that were already here. And moving into this season, we've already had some fantastic wins. The week where we won away at Derby, won away at Barnsley will stand out in people's mind, but also that win over Stevenage away from home. I thought Oxford showed a lot of grit and determination, and certainly showed me how this team has grown, because it certainly wouldn't have been a win we would have got last season. And let's not forget, he did end the Manager of the Month hoodoo as well. The first manager since Ramon Diaz to win that award back in August, and just generally just seemed like a good bloke, didn't he? It was refreshing to hear him talk about football, about life after the game. Just came across as very even-headed, very mild-mannered, and compared to what we'd had before with Carl Robinson, it was very, very refreshing. And for a guy that is 3 years younger than me, he spoke with a lot of wisdom and common sense, the likes of which I will probably never have. And I think the only lows that he leaves us with is just the fact that he's leaving now. It's leaving while this project is almost just getting started. We're just about a third of the way into the season. We're in a great position in the league, and it just felt that everything was just pulling in the right direction on and off the field, and now we've been left with this annoying bump in the road. So where does that leave the Yellows now? Well, it leaves us in a great position in League One. Let's not forget that. And we've clearly got a good squad, because we've only lost 3 games this season, where we find ourselves in second place, just 3 points behind Portsmouth. And you would imagine that there will be no shortage of candidates for this job. There was said that there were a lot when Carl Robinson left. Now the fact the club's in such a better position, you would imagine there will be a huge amount of managers applying for this one. November is also quite a quietish month for Oxford United on the field, so it may not be the worst time for Manning to jump ship. We've got an international break in there, which does give the club time to, give the board time to find a new manager. It gives him time to get his feet under the table, to assess the squad, and then work with Ed Waldron to bring in new faces in the January transfer window. It does obviously leave some worries in the air. It does leave you that there might be a drop-off in form. It does leave you that it might lead to a drop down the league if a manager doesn't come in and carry on the good work that Manning has done. There's also that nagging thing in the back of my mind. Good word there, thing. Nagging worry. There we go. In the back of my mind that we might lose players like McGuane and Brannigan, Elliott Moore. These guys might be tempted to jump ship and follow Manning in January, which would be pretty tragic for our promotion campaign. And then also look at the loanees that we brought in. Does that affect how their parent clubs look at Oxford United? The likes of Beadle, Stevens, Edwards, Mills and Perkins. Will we see any of those return to their parent clubs? So we've got a game tonight though, Oxford fans, in the whatever it's called now, EFL Trophy. I liked it when it was the Pizza World Championships, the Papa John's, but it's not that anymore. But Craig Shaw will be in charge for that one. His second stint as temporary manager begins tonight, and last time he was in charge we didn't win a game, but he did see there was an improvement, I would say, in the general performance under Shaw, and like last time, I'm sure he'll try and think that if he does well he could throw his hat in the ring to be given the job. But I would say that is unlikely, and let's have a look now at some of the managers that they could choose. Some of the managers that are currently out of work. You've got the likes of Nathan Jones. I'm not too sure. I'm not convinced with Jones. I wouldn't be happy with that one. Also, not too sure of any of the names on this list, really. Chris Wilder, I get the feel, I wouldn't mind that, but I get the feeling that Wilder thinks he's better than Oxford United now. John Eustace, that wouldn't be a bad shout. Coming in from Birmingham, would he not be more ambitious than that? Frank Lampard, I can't see Lampard dropping down to manage Oxford. Gary Rowett, again, that would be another good choice for Oxford United. Few absolute no's. Gareth Ainsworth, Danny Cowley, Steve Cottrell, Joey Barton absolutely get nowhere near Oxford United for those 4 gentlemen. But the likes of Liam Richardson did a good job at Wigan, hasn't really done a management job since then. That would be one that I would seriously consider. But there are also some good candidates of managers that are in work at the moment. What names that stand out to me: Luke Williams doing a fantastic job at Notts County. Would take a bit of effort to pull him away from the Magpies. Maybe he can rejoin Ruben Rodriguez. Lee Bell doing a good job with Crewe, and I've always liked Mark Bonner. A lot of people might turn their nose up at that, but I think he's always done a good job at Cambridge with a limited budget. I'd be interested to see what he could do at a club with aspirations to get out of League One rather than just stay in League One. And then the real left field appointment is Des Buckingham. His name always gets thrown around. He's managing in India with Mumbai at the moment. He has been an Oxford coach in the past, and he's a highly respected coach as well. And from my point of view, it would be really interesting if they brought in Des Buckingham, because I actually used to work with his sister when I worked at Oxford Brookes University, and I used to actually work with a guy at Oxford Brookes University that used to go and help Des Buckingham do some coaching. He went and helped them when he was coach of New Zealand under 23s. He went out and helped them in a World Cup or some sort of championship in there. So I do know how that he is a very highly respected coach, and it would be a little bit of a left field appointment, but one I think he could come in and do a good job. So in summary then, yes, it is a sad day for Oxford United. I did not want Liam Manning to leave, but he does leave the Yellows in a far better position than when he came in. And whilst I am annoyed that he's gone, I'm not angry with him, but I do get it that there's some Oxford fans out there that will be, but from my point of view, it's just frustrating, and that's just the nature of football. And I actually do hope he does a good job at Bristol City, and I hope that you Bristol City fans can get on board with him as well. If there are any Bristol City fans out there, I'd be really interested to know your thoughts on Manning coming in, whether you're for it or against it. I know there are some detractors who wanted a bigger name. But Liam Manning, from my point of view, and I'm sure there's a lot of fans that share this sentiment, just thank you for the job you've done of managing Oxford United, not least keeping us up last season, but also the job you've done this season, and above all, just lifting the mood around Oxford United, just giving us that feel-good factor back, giving us that enjoyment of our football back. That cannot be overstated, and as I said again, just thank you for you and Chris Hogg for the work that you've done. But managers come and go, Oxford United fans, and we are still second in League One, and we've got a team out there that is doing us proud week in, week out. I know you will, but they're just going to reiterate, get behind the players, get behind the club. Leave your comments down below. I hear that if you hit like on this video as well, it does guarantee us promotion, so you might want to hit that like button. And above all else, come on, you Yellows.